Over recent months, while I've balanced survival, job search, and community organizing, a lot of folks have come to appreciate my efforts to improve on the world. There's evidence said efforts are indeed improving the world for those who are reached through my organizing labor. At this point in an epically dismal and failed job search, it seems evident that the path forward for me cuts through the field of grassroots activism. In recent years, this work has consumed me and my every waking moment, and that reality lies many blessings as well as a few curses, and probably a ton of untreated trauma. One primary pitfall that repeatedly rears its ugly head: truly challenging the status quo isn't a paying gig on the ladder of success. Regardless, my family and I must eat and be housed at the very least. It's true, I am no Katie Johnstone and I'm no Abby Martin. I'm not on any foreign front lines, and I don't consider myself to be a national treasure. I'm just dedicated to the ending of poverty's massacre of humanity, in a metaphorical and literal sense. How dare I imply that I'm owed anything for my efforts? How dare I ask for money, you say? Trust me, it leaves a very bad taste in my mouth. Nonetheless, it's the lesser of worse fates compared to selling my time, my health, and my labor to a corporation, giving of my life force to the system that's crushing us all. No, thank you. I'll be a proud beggar before all else. Not to mention, I've been trying to merely survive on poverty wages for the entirety of my employable years, to marginal avail. On that note, I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to monetize revolution, activism, or any facet of my personal involvement in the movement. What I do know is folks like myself could make a remarkably more impactful change if we weren't strapped with both surviving in an unjust system while also attempting to create a just, equitable system. I.e., feeding the hungry doesn't exactly translate into tangible nutrition for the ones doing the feeding. All that being said, the last thing that needs to happen is the further industrialization of good deeds via activism. That is to say, creating a monetary incentive for doing good, for changing the world for the better, would certainly have its negatives, but would it be a net negative? While activism shouldn't be monetized or commodified, nor should politicians profit millions on empty promises. Nor should society approve of the spoils we allow preachers who brainwash the masses with traumatizing fairy tales. At least revolution is actually contributing to the improvement of society, and I'm tired of pretending like it's not an investment of one's time worthy of compensation. Ideally, in an equitable, non-monetized world, my societal contributions would be returned in the form of housing security and an abundance of human rights like non-barrier access to healthy food and health care. Alas, we are here in late-stage capitalism, where our labor can't keep up with the cost of living, to the point our overlords are forcing us to pay for a pizza pie in 3 square payments versus simply letting us eat in exchange for our life force, which, by the way, keeps them enriched beyond calculable numbers. Aside from the laughable implication of getting rich in this line of work, some will accuse you just want to get famous. To that I say, I really hope not. Presently, I can already barely handle the amount of human interaction that I navigate day to day. As a firm believer in the theory, we are but balls of energy cloaked in flesh suits. We're not designed to encounter the energy of the masses, at least not on a regular basis, which is probably why we were tribal by nature insofar as we started out by living in comparatively smaller numbers. Not to say that's why we are believed to be naturally hyper-competitive, but I digress. As Dorothy Day said, "Don't call me a saint. I don't want to be dismissed that easily." The way I see it, being a woman is close enough to be entirely dismissible, let alone a non-conforming woman. Truly and honestly, I don't expect anyone to remember my name. That's not the point. But if my kids happen to end up with a legacy that brings them comfort and empowerment, that'll satisfy any itch I could ever have for fame. At the end of the day, around countless tables across the world, there's a lot of talk about spending money to implement solutions across the board, from solar systems to degrowth strategies. What I haven't heard mentioned in the mainstream is the human aspect. as if those taking charge of the proverbial transition don't plan to deviate from the wage slave model of top-down employment. Hate to break it to you, but if there's any saving of the world to be done, we're going to have to evolve in step with the technology we aim to employ, which means folks with the passion, skill sets, and dedication to navigate the front lines of that era will need to be sought out and supported in order to empower them to do so. I'm here to say that time is now, and I am, boldly speaking, one of those people. I've been fortunate enough to work alongside of others for years who are also those people and deserve that same support. It's past time we shift our collective focus and investment in politicians and preachers to that of community leaders and organizers, the folks on the ground performing the actual labor of change and creating a better world from the trenches of poverty and structural cultural oppression. Thank you for supporting people that are making tangible progress.